You do this every single night. You climb into bed, you close your eyes, and you try to sleep for 8 straight hours. You never question it. Why would you? Everyone does it. Your doctor tells you to do it. Your parents told you to do it. But what if I told you that for 99% of human history, no human being ever did this? For thousands of years, sleeping 8 hours straight would have seemed bizarre, unnatural, even dangerous. The real question is not why you can't sleep through the night. The real question is who told you that you were supposed to? To find the answer, we have to go back, long before alarm clocks, long before cities, to a time when night itself was a different world. Imagine a night 40,000 years ago. The sun has set. There is no light, no fire in the distance that will last until morning, just darkness so thick you cannot see your own hand. You are not alone. You are huddled with your tribe in a shallow cave or under a rock shelter. The air is cold. Somewhere in the black, something is moving. Something is hunting. In this world, sleeping for 8 hours straight is not rest. It is suicide. So you don't. You sleep in shifts. Your body wakes you up. Every few hours, your eyes snap open. You listen. You smell the air. You check the fire. You check the children. And your ancestors did the same. Archaeologists studying ancient hearths find evidence of this. Fires that were tended all night long, not left to die. Someone was always awake. This was the first rule of ancient sleep. Never let the whole tribe sleep at once. And that rule shaped our biology. Modern science has done something strange in all of us. Inside your brain, you have a clock that is far older than you. It does not want one long sleep. Left alone without artificial light, it wants two. In the early 1990s, a psychiatrist named Thomas Wehr did an experiment. He took a group of modern humans and placed them in darkness for 14 hours every night. No lamps, no phones, just darkness, like our ancestors knew. For the first week, they slept a lot. 10, 11 hours. Their bodies were catching up. Then something incredible happened. Their sleep split. They would sleep for about 4 hours. Then they would wake up. For 1, 2, even 3 hours, they would lie quietly awake in the dark. Peaceful, alert, not anxious. And then they would fall asleep again for another 4 hours. He had rediscovered a lost form of human sleep, a sleep we all used to know. We call it segmented sleep. Our ancestors called it first sleep and second sleep. And once you know its name, you start to see it everywhere in history. Let's travel forward to medieval Europe. It is the year 1300. It is midnight in a village in England. The village is asleep, but not for long. A man wakes up after his first sleep. The house is dark and cold. His wife is already awake beside him. They do not try to go back to sleep. This is normal. This is expected. This is the time between sleeps. The watch. What do people do in this watch? We know because they wrote about it. In diaries, in letters, in medical books, in court records. Thousands of documents mention it. Historian Roger E. Kirch spent 16 years collecting them. He found over 500 references to segmented sleep in documents from all over the world. From ancient Rome to Africa to Asia, this was not an accident. This was the human norm. During the watch, people did remarkable things. Some prayed. The watch was considered a sacred time, a time when the veil between worlds was thin. Monks had a special prayer for it. Some worked. Peasants would check on animals, mend tools, steal wood from the Lord's forest. Some talked. Husbands and wives who had no privacy during the day in a crowded one-room house finally had time to talk. This is when they planned, when they argued, when they made love. In fact, doctors in the 16th century said that children conceived after the first sleep were stronger and smarter. Some went out. They visited neighbors, sitting by their fire during their watch. There was a whole social world that existed at 2 in the morning, and some just lay there, staring at the darkness, dreaming while awake, letting their minds wander in a way we have completely lost. This was a calm, meditative state. A psychiatrist today would call it a form of natural meditation, a state of quiet alertness that came from a brain washed in a unique cocktail of hormones. You see, when you sleep for 4 hours and wake up, your brain is flooded with prolactin, the same hormone that makes a mother feel bonded to her baby. It creates a feeling of deep peace, of contentment. Our ancestors knew this peace. We don't. So what changed? The answer is not what you think. It wasn't a king. It wasn't a war. It was something far more ordinary. It was light. For thousands of years, the only lights at night were fire, the moon, and the stars. And fire is expensive. It takes wood. It takes work. It smokes. You don't keep it burning bright all night just to read. Then came the Industrial Revolution. Suddenly, in cities like London and Paris, there were new fuels. Whale oil. Then coal gas. Then kerosene. For the first time in history, a common person could afford to keep a light on. and the night started to shrink. Streets that had been terrifying oceans of black for 10 hours were now illuminated. Shops stayed open. People stayed out. If you had light, why would you waste it sleeping? The watch became useless. Why sit in peaceful darkness when you could work, when you could drink, when you could make more money? Factory owners loved this. They realized they could have two shifts of workers, the day shift and the night shift. But you can't have a night shift. If your workers are going home to have a first and second sleep. They needed consolidated workers. Workers who slept in one block like a machine that is turned off and on. And then came the final blow, Edison. In 1879, the electric light bulb did not just light up a room. It killed the first and second sleep. Now light was cheap. Now light was everywhere. Night was no longer night. It was just a dimmer day. And the medical profession followed. In the late 19th century, doctors started to write about healthy sleep. And they started to say that a healthy adult sleeps in one continuous block. 8 hours. No waking. If you woke up in the middle of the night, you were sick. You had insomnia. A natural ancient behavior was reclassified as a disease. Overnight. Think about that. Millions of people today lie awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, feeling anxious, thinking something is wrong with them. Their hearts race. They check the clock. They panic about being tired tomorrow. That panic keeps them awake for hours. But for their ancestors, waking at 3 a.m. was the most natural thing in the world. There was no panic. There was just the quiet watch. We pathologized our own evolution. But is 4 hours really all they slept? Here is where we must separate fact from myth. The title of this story is a trick. Ancient humans did not sleep only 4 hours in total. That is a modern misunderstanding. They slept about 7 to 8 hours in total, just like us. But they broke it into two pieces. 2 sleeps of about 4 hours each with a watch in between. Or did they? There is another piece of evidence from people who still live much like our ancestors did. Anthropologists have studied modern hunter-gatherers, the Hadza in Tanzania, the San in Botswana, the Siman in Bolivia. People with no electricity, sleeping outside under the stars, and they found something that contradicts everything we think we know. These people do not sleep for 8 hours. They sleep for about 6.5, sometimes less. They fall asleep hours after sunset, not right when it gets dark, and they wake up before dawn. Their sleep is also noisy, broken, flexible. They wake up, they tend the fire, they talk, they go back to sleep. So the truth is more complex. Ancient humans did not have a perfect 8-hour segmented sleep. They had a flexible, broken, light sleep. A total of 6 to 7 hours, shattered by awakenings. Sometimes it was in 2 major chunks. Sometimes it was in many smaller naps. They slept like wild animals sleep, which is exactly what we were. Why did we sleep like that? Science has 3 answers. First, protection. As we saw, a tribe that is half awake is harder to kill. Second, temperature. The coldest part of the night is around 3 or 4 a.m. If you are sleeping on the ground, that is when you will wake up shivering. So you wake up, rebuild the fire, warm up, and then go back to sleep. Third, memory and learning. Modern neuroscience shows that the period of waking between sleeps is incredibly important for the brain. When you wake up after 4 hours, your brain has just finished processing the day's memories. That quiet, prolactin-rich waking period allows you to consolidate those memories, to make sense of them without the noise of the day. It turns experience into wisdom. Our ancestors woke up in the middle of the night not because their sleep was broken. Their sleep was working perfectly. We are the ones with broken sleep. Today we force ourselves to stay up long after sunset, staring at bright screens that tell our ancient brain it is still noon. Then we force ourselves to stay in bed for 8 uninterrupted hours, panicking if we wake up. We have taken a flexible, polyphasic, watchful sleep and squeezed it into a rigid industrial box, and we wonder why we are so tired. So the next time you wake up at 3 a.m., do not be afraid. Do not check your phone. Do not turn on the light. Lie there. Let your eyes adjust to the dark. Breathe. Listen to the house. For a few minutes, you are not an insomniac. You are just human. You are experiencing a memory that is 50,000 years old. A memory in your blood of firelight and stars and a watchful, peaceful night. You have just woken from your first sleep.